Hey!
It is time to enjoy peak. Shout out Totally Not Mark for making the call of calls, getting TeamFourStar to, you know what? If you don't understand what's about to happen in this video, I'm gonna let the video play. The chat, get your popcorn. We're here for a good time.
Over the last month or so, I've released 3 feature-length reviews expressing what exactly I love about Dragon Ball Z in excruciating detail, examining everything from the thrilling Saiyan invasion, the chilling Frieza saga, and the massive but widely acclaimed Android and Cell arcs, the latter of which acted not only as the coronation of Gohan as the Earth's new primary defender, but the conclusion to a story that many widely considered Akira Toriyama's finest work, his magnum opus, one that exposed the complexities of this story, its highs, and the subtle genius behind the mind that helped to bring it all together. And now for his final arc, the culmination to over a decade's worth of expertly written manga. Where does Akira Toriyama want to take us?
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. The infant of
How did y'all feel about the great Saiyaman, brother? Like him, love him, hate him.
Saiyaman?
Uh-oh. Am I watching Peak?
Wait, Gohan, your lunch!
I'm sorry, I had to get it out. All right, that's my last time fanboying. Let's go.
Nimbus! Later, Mom.
Always listen to your teachers! And remember, all women are liars and you'll always be my baby and you'll never grow up!
What the fuck?
When can I go to school? When your father comes home.
After what has been an exceptionally long stretch of increasingly more severe and serious stories told, this small prelude to the upcoming material is perhaps the most refreshing palate cleanser the series has to offer. And while it does feel somewhat strange for reasons I will absolutely get to later, I think it's clear that this is Akira Toriyama at his most unbridled in a very long time, creating an arc that shares more in common with the first arc of Dragon Ball than perhaps any other. And it is that very aspect of this arc that, in my opinion, makes it on a meta level the single most fascinating introduction any Dragon Ball arc has to offer. This shift in approach and atmosphere is so dramatic, so drastic, so sudden, it seems impossible to consider that it came about unconsciously. And this arc stands out from the crowd. And in many respects, I think the tonal shift is perfect. After the non-stop sprint from Raditz to Cell we've just endured for 3 arcs straight, we've finally been afforded the chance to just enjoy a moment of peace. The very peace we've so feverishly been fighting for all of this time with these characters.
Peaceful Dragon
and with these
Ball?
Reintroductions to old characters, we get to explore brand new ones in ways we haven't had a chance to since the beginning of this story. It's a very slice of life, enjoyable and light affair. However, there is one element that forces it to feel dramatically different to even the comparatively light and fun first arc of Dragon Ball.
Talk to me.
And that difference is Toriyama's choice of main character.
Woo, Nelly. All right. I know someone's blood vessel stretch that went over 9,000 when you just knew that this nigga was gonna be the main character. I was always on the fan of Goku as a character, but I did like specifically Cell Saga, or should I say Super Saiyan 2 Gohan specifically. Kid Gohan, I never was really like attached to as I was a Kid Goku. So I wasn't mad when I wasn't mad when Goku essentially took the reins back as main character at all. But I know endless people who was like, yo, Gohan should be the MC, da-da-da-da. They should have ended with the Cell arc, da-da-da-da. Man, that's tough. Oh my God.
Son Gohan, It should come as no surprise to anyone that this story pivots in a rather Goku way. What begins as a wholesome and slice-of-life tale of Gohan navigating his responsibilities as the Earth's hero in the big bad city quickly switches gears to something far more familiar once a certain tournament is announced in the story. And I'll even acknowledge that when reading along, this might feel somewhat fine, if not almost unnoticeable. However, when your job is to analyze stories like mine is, you start to notice a few things. And what I noticed was a pivot so seismic that it dwarfs, in my opinion, every other pivot observed in the prior arc. This arc sees Toriyama shift the very foundations he spent so long establishing. And unfortunately, there's quite a lot of controversy surrounding this creative choice. So, in the name of objectivity, I'll try to present the available and limited information for you first and foremost, before offering my own 2 cents on the matter later. At the fore of this new material following the 7-year time skip, on chapter 421, Akira Toriyama addresses his readers on the title page saying, Dragon Ball will continue for just a tad longer. From now on, taking the place of the late Goku as the main character will be his serious-minded son Gohan. Looking at this, it's clear that Akira Toriyama wanted everyone to know from the outset that Gohan was taking Goku's place. He even seems to be on some level excited. As another quote taken from the very issue of Shonen Jump this was released within says, "At last, the story has begun with Gohan as the main character. Even I, the author, am looking forward to seeing what will happen." Given the fitting and emotional exit Goku was offered as a character, it seems reasonable to conclude that this was a fresh start in many respects for the series. Opportunities abound to go in interesting new directions, free of the familiar and into a bold new direction. Many have speculated as to the reasoning why, however, the only explanation offered by Akira Toriyama has been, and I quote, "I intended to put Gohan into the leading role. It didn't work out."
And he said, "I tried, coach." Look, man, I think this didn't work. In terms of why it didn't work, obviously nostalgia and popularity play a huge factor. So, you know, when you just say, hey, Goku's not coming back in a series where literally everybody fucking comes back, it's already going to be like hard to win over those fans. Gohan is kind of like literally if we were in Dragon Ball. For most of the viewers, especially for the age that Dragon Ball was being released, he was a sympathetic character to like the kid in school that gets bullied on and then finally gets the power to stand up in whatever way, shape, or form. Granted, he can literally just fight back. But like, I guess what I'm saying is Gohan's motivations are so normal that it was always going to be hard to transform him into a character that can like spread his ideologies against the world, because that's what most animes are, right?
Between putting out fires in downtown, narrowly saving hundreds from a potential plane crash, and stopping bank robbers single-handedly, Satan City, and maybe Earth itself, has found a new hero. And that hero's name is...
the Great Saiyaman.
Oh my god, is the part of his name? What is he, a rapper?
What do you mean by that?
It is a weird
A
name
rapper is
for a
crazy.
superhero. I think it's kind of cool.
Of course you do, you're Hillfolk.
Sharpener!
Iranza, he knows I love him. Gohan, you know I love you.
What does that mean?
It means you're my favorite Nepo baby Videl, and I love you.
Yo, who is this? Yo, who is that nigga, bro? Who is that nigga, bro? Who is this blonde Trunks just grilling? Hey, what's up with bro? What's good with you, bro?
I don't think this is what makes this arc feel different.
That nigga the
None
class
of this
leader,
is
bro.
emblematic of whatever
That
ultimately
nigga,
pushed
bro.
Toriyama into a different direction. Gohan is a character that requires support from others, a cause that can ignite a fire within him to fight with. That aspect of his character is the reason the ending of the prior arc concluded in the fashion it ultimately did, and is the reason so many people love Gohan. Gohan offers the power and ability, all the while Goku and Vegeta provide the support his tremendous power required.
Right.
And look, you're not going to catch me calling Gohan a boring butt plug of a character that could put an insomniac to sleep. That's Dragon Ball Super's Gohan.
Hey. They working on it. I'm not a super defender, but damn it, they worked on it, okay? Yeah, look, it was bad, okay? It was very bad. Gohan and Super was just bad, okay? Okay. But they working, all right? But we working on it, all right? We working on it.
However, I suspect it's not a character type Toriyama himself is comfortable writing for. Up until now, Akira Toriyama has spent his entire life writing dialogue and stories for easily excitable and energetic characters that take the narrative by the horns. And I think on this occasion, Akira Toriyama found
really
himself
doing
in a situation he didn't foresee having an issue with.
Can't be the
But
MC
unfortunately,
of this story.
unlike EARLLY, unlike Son Goku, Gohan is one of the most reactive characters I've ever come across. In the very first chapter of this arc, Gohan reacts to the robbers. He reacts to being seen. He reacts to being beckoned into the classroom. He needs to be told to introduce himself, to take an empty seat. He doesn't even choose for himself where to sit.
You saying this nigga Gohan got no backbone?
When it comes to talking to other characters in school, he very rarely strikes up conversations. This is kind of a tangent, but there's a frankly absurdly funny baseball scene in this early school portion too. Gohan plays baseball for what he says is the first time in his life, and hilarious antics ensue.
Oh wait, no, he hits that bitch out the park. Yeah,
all
that's
the
right.
comedy seems to stem not from Gohan, but Sharpner's brash and boisterous personality meeting the wall that is Son Gohan's athletic ability. Naturally, he wouldn't be able to react this way if it weren't for Son Gohan, but yeah, I just thought it worth mentioning. But of those three characters that Gohan goes to school with,
or maybe
Videl is by far the most assertive. In other words, within this introductory portion of the arc, Videl is the active character, which not only helps to smooth over the pacing, but it makes her dynamic with Gohan exceptionally fun to watch and forces us as readers and viewers to see them as two entities that complement each other exceptionally well.
Whoa.
To see them as two entities that complement each other.
See, this is some bullshit. This is some bullshit, all right? And I'm gonna leave it on the screen. You wanna know why this is bullshit? This nigga Gohan has jumped over cars in this clip. This nigga Gohan obviously is infinitely stronger to fight at light speed. Much faster than non-key control Earthling speed. I say that to say, where's Piccolo? It's the TFS video. That nigga could have dodged that. He could have dodged the shit out of that. But now, just sat there. Just sat there. Whoa. All right, Gohan. All right, go easy. All right, go Measy. We see what you're doing. All right, buddy. You're caught.
Well, where her father is a fraud posing as the Grand Protector who saved the world from Cell, right under her nose is literally the one responsible for Cell's defeat, and more than that, just like his good deed stopping those thugs suggests, he actively avoids any and all credit for these performances. All for the exact same reasons he never entertains the idea of stopping in the first place. Because he's a good person and feels that this is his responsibility. Gohan has presented Toriyama with unforeseen challenges thanks to his passive nature. Videl represents Toriyama's attempted answer to that problem, creating a perfect complement to Son Gohan. And let me tell you, she's a pretty good answer, all things considered. Videl's identity is that she's the champion of Earth's daughter, the offspring of a larger-than-life character that casts a shadow so vast, he steals the focus in pretty much every scene he participates within. Because of this, she has grown up in his shadow, often not treated with the respect she so sorely deserves as a fighter. And as a result, unbeknownst to both her and her father, she has long since surpassed him by a considerable margin, though unfortunately no one around her can see it. That is until Gohan steps into her life. Videl is the only one at school that sees Gohan for who he is, and conversely, Gohan is the only one who sees her for who she is. Nothing happens randomly in this story apart from that fish, and Videl's challenge put forth to Gohan is no different. And it's made on the back of her discovery that Gohan is the son of a former world champion. In a sense, Gohan represents to Videl the opportunity for her to step out of her father's shadow. And in a way for Gohan, this agreement to participate in the tournament and train with Videl allows him to retain his secret identity.
It's actually ironic, the dynamic between these two, when you really even go further, that Goku kind of, even from beyond just a father standpoint, he just starts looking as Gohan as a successor. And I'm not saying Gohan in any way, shape, or form was trying to get Videl to be that successor as well, but he definitely was like, Pops was cooking with that idea of trying to find other people who can also like you know what I'm saying, make Earth a better place, like finding strong guys, not to fight them, but just to have, like, You know what I'm saying? Another Z fighter in the crew type shit. And I actually really fucked with that dynamic. I fucked with the Gohan and really even Goten, I want to say. Trying to like mentor Videl and shit like that. I fucked with that dynamic. I don't know if it qualifies as filler or not, but those are some of the best episodes of this arc in my personal opinion.
It's a near perfect dynamic that I would have loved to have seen explored further had the story gone a different direction. Really serve as our actual introduction to the new member of the Sun family. Somehow an even more carefree and childlike version of Goku. Their entire training evokes strong memories of Goku training for the very first time with Krillin and Roshi. The actual training they undergo has that exact same type of approach as well. No complicated techniques or kung fu mantras, just a very simple and concrete idea. Dodge the rocks. And once again, Goten proves how Goku-like he is by completely exceeding Gohan's expectations, punching literal holes through the mountain. As the arc progresses, Goten, and Trunks as well, end up playing increasingly pivotal roles in the events to come, and they are both introduced in very similar.
Kid Trunks had so much unironic dwarfing strength than Future Trunks, dog. Like, this is so crazy. Nobody brings it up, nobody talks about it, but the most disappointing thing between Goten and Kid Trunks, I'll always say Kid Trunks, is because yes, Goten had it laid out for him to not be Goku Jr., but Goku with a bit different character traits, and he could have been him. We understand that. But even from a casual perspective, Kid Trunks was dwarfing a future version of himself. All you have to do is take that nigga, change one or two things due to circumstance, and he's just that much stronger. And holy shit, you could have had a peak character. I will die by the fact that in terms of wasted potential, people will go to Kid Goten. I guarantee you people in the comments will argue, yo, Goten was just Trunks' lapdog. That's fine. Those are actually good points. But me personally, this nigga is the definition of wasted potential in the entire show.
Ways as the spitting image of their father, at least in terms of character.
What I'm saying is, you can dodge bullets, much less any attack I throw at you.
Well, yeah, honestly.
Yeah, kinda. Yes! Thank you! Thank you! I love these niggas! This is why I love them. Because they know there is no, and I promise to the highest God, because I know YouTube's a fake world. Yes, it is, fine. But I did not watch this video. I did not watch any clips. I read a caption and I said, fuck that. Nope, swiping up. I'm just trying to delete that from my memory. And it weren't even that. Yo, thank you. There is no reason, I'm gonna say it once and we're gonna move on. There is no reason he didn't dodge that. He's a freak. He's a fucking freaky frog, bro.
Why do you ask?
No reason.
The 25th Tenkaichi Budokai. There's a small moment right after Goku arrives at the tournament grounds where he notices how big everything concerning the Tenkaichi Budokai has become. Goku, our previous main character, feels more like a cameo than a returning character. And moments before Goku makes this triumphant return from the dead and reunites with his friends and family, Mr. Satan makes his presence felt to uproarious applause and adulation. He marches away, feeding into the crowd, and so too do the chorus of his fans follow along. In the manga, we can see the fanfare and crowd dissipate over the horizon before Goku, a true hero of Earth, makes a comparatively much more modest return. To quote Akira Toriyama's narration during the Cell Saga, the world had forgotten Son Goku.
Damn.
He's not the main character as of yet. Instead, it's Goten versus Trunks. It is crazy that outside of the random run-ins with criminals and some loose training sequences, this is the first proper fight in the arc. 13 full chapters, or over 3 months of real time passed by to get to this point. Okay. But honestly, I think it's worth the wait because what we got was brilliant. It's still very lighthearted, but With the added rivalry of Goku and Vegeta watching their kids for the very first time, it's a wonderful proxy to add even more tension to the occasion. It's sort of like watching the two old main characters Pokemon battle each other with their own children. However, the fight itself is plenty enjoyable from an artistic standpoint. Trunks, the more experienced of the two, in an effort to prove his superiority over Goten in front of his father, offers to not use, in addition to Super Saiyan, his left arm. But Goten uses this as a chance to prove to Trunks that he's more than he ever gave him credit for.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Just like his father did in his first tournament, Goten fails to pick up the victory, with his age being the difference maker that cost him against the older Trunks. This is a great way for Goten to lose as a character. Not losing face due to the scrappy nature of the finish, but what I love about it actually has nothing to do with Goten, but instead Vegeta. The wager Trunks made with Goten right here to not use one of his arms mirrors almost exactly the very wager that his own father made with him in the gravity chamber. It's a wholesome moment and one that speaks to how much Trunks looks up to and wants to be like his father, further emphasizing how different Vegeta is and how much better off Trunks is as a child with him in his life. Without Vegeta, Trunks might not have won.
Talk to me.
Dang it, I can't get him out of the ring. I guess that's what I should expect from the son of Kakarot.
Baby shark doo 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 doo, baby shark doo 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 doo.
Okay, how about we get a little spicier?
Oh, hey, Gohan, you taught him how to dodge. That's great.
Trunks, pull it up!
Wait, does that mean we can use pew-pews?
Of course we can, duh.
Cool. Kame!
No,
Dude, you're not even saying it right. It's
not.
Kamehameha.
Why is he? No.
Wait, even if you say it wrong, it still works? Then why say it at all?
Because it sounds cool.
Does it though? Oh, come on, he knows I love him. You know I love you, the great Saiyaman. Seriously though, who put that do-rag on him?
Yo, who is this kid, bro? Who is this nigga, bro?
And then, of course, Toriyama can't help but interject some more funny into the tournament, even at its first climax. The adult tournament. What sets it apart from all of the others is that it doesn't seem to have a clear goal right now. I suppose there's the stipulation of Gohan trying to hide his secret identity from Videl, but at this point that seems rather, I don't know, secondary. And of course, there is a somewhat interesting sense of Videl trying to make a name for herself away from her father, but those two feel incidental or rather secondary than what would normally be present. And instead of this goal, this arc seems to be almost acting as a celebration of Dragon Ball instead. Having fun with all of its characters, new and old, as they engage in hijinks. That is until the plot suddenly shows up and slaps us all to attention. To add further strange fuel to this already frankly strange tournament fire, the lots that are drawn present us with one of the most highly anticipated rematches in the series' history. Goku versus Vegeta in the opening round. And seemingly unresolved rivalry now offered its chance for resolution, much to Vegeta and Goku's respective delights. But again, this is strange. Normally, tournaments are structured such that there's a clear path to follow to the finals for the two focused characters. Starting at the prelims, they make their way to the quarterfinals and eventually semifinals before arriving at the end of their path at the climax, facing off against one another. But instead, fittingly, Toriyama decided to flip the structure on its head, in the process throwing any and all expectations we might have regarding this tournament out the window. Videl versus Spopovich. As I've said before, Videl is a character that's defined by her agency within the plot itself. Her ability to strive for her own goals and instigate events in the plot to help her push towards those goals very much make her who she is presently. Early on, she was one of the only reasons the story had any conflict whatsoever, with her seeking to carve out her own place in history as a respected fighter and not simply her father's daughter. She's very capable, perceptive, and intelligent, picking up on clues and outsmarting Gohan on a number of occasions so far. However, in this scene, in this fight with Spopovich, that active quality which defined her character is taken from her. As the narrative passes through this moment in the tournament, so too does the story begin to pass over Videl more and more, ultimately changing her function within it. It's a point where the truth is revealed to her, and ostensibly it's revealed how little control over anything she actually has. This is where the story truly begins for this arc, but it's also where Videl begins to lose her spotlight. As stronger foes are introduced, her place in the story begins to wane, a shift that continues all the way through to the end of this story and well into Dragon Ball Super, where she is, well, let's just say there's a reason I didn't mention her a single time in my multi-hour review of Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah. Or we have to go down memory lane. If there was a wasted potential scoreboard, obviously the kids are 1 and 2. Videl definitely marks the 3rd one in this arc alone, and I just think it's very, very, very tough and unfortunate, to be honest.
For now, though, this fight acts as the last stand for Videl, the result of her headstrong, blunt nature crashing headfirst against a foe and really a plot that she doesn't stand a chance to beat. Despite being the daughter of a fraud, she has faced every challenge in her life so far with absolute determination. And that very determination is what pushed her to overcome all that has stood in her way. Facing off against situations that would put her in league with the Dragon Ball crew at the beginning of the series, she has been yet another bastion of hard work overcomes all. So much so that even Goku, who just moments before showed zero interest in Satan's fight, goes out of his way to check in on Videl's. She may not be on their level, but she has clearly worked hard enough to garner Goku's interest, and that says a lot. But unfortunately, sometimes there are walls that are too high to climb. 100%. Not her own undying determination, not her legitimate strength, not even the otherworldly techniques that Gohan, the savior of Earth, taught her, can protect her and help her through this moment. And with no prior experience with defeat, she faces the consequence of that wall in a truly brutal and painful way. It's a tough read in the manga and even tougher to watch in the anime.
It's sick to watch. No. Not these fuckers, bro. No. Don't meme this, bro. No, bro. No. Bro, I ain't got time for these niggas, bro. They're not but a meme. All right, bro. All right.
Even tougher to watch in the anime.
Crazy.
In all my years of watching brutal violence unfold, this is without a doubt the most heinous, unnecessary savagery we've ever witnessed.
Oh, come on, this could be way worse. She still has all her vital organs.
All of them. I have to do something. I can't let this continue.
No, Gohan. If you step in, you'll be disqualified.
Damn it! You're right.
There's no way.
Gohan now being used as live bait by the Supreme Kai, allowing him to be ambushed by Yamu and Spopovich, and that's when I noticed it. A change not just in atmosphere, but in story dynamic. Gohan isn't the main focus or main character any longer, at least not on his own anyway. During this most recent segment of the story, we've been reunited with and followed none other than Goku's point of view once again, backstage as he watches the madness unfold around him. Much like the fight between Goku and Android 19, in this fight similarly, the intrigue isn't Gohan versus Kibito in a sense, but instead the reactions of others surrounding the action and controversy that unfolds, mostly seen through the perspective of Goku as he asks questions we want answers to ourselves from the likes of Piccolo and even Shin. It feels like we're back on the same page as Goku, trying to catch up to Goku and the others on their way to Babidi's hideout. Videl and Gohan are seen traveling with Kibito, but Videl is visibly uncomfortable and struggling. This is entirely logically consistent within the story itself. However, it does seem strange to have this moment virtually right after having her decide for herself to travel with Gohan in the first place. Over the course of 2 pages, Videl decides to dip, admits she can't match up to Gohan, figures out that he was the kid who defeated Cell along with his friends, and that her dad was a liar. All of that emotional storytelling material that may or may not have been considered for a storyline in the past, in the blink of an eye, was unceremoniously unloaded on us. And to me, it really felt as though Toriyama was like, oh yeah, I did have all that baggage to unload on that story that went absolutely nowhere. Ah well, time to dump it here, I guess, lol.
Yeah, cause yeah. Yeah, basically.
1 chapter ago, she asked to come along, and now she's going back? Surely this should have been a conversation before they left. Though, I suppose this is to be somewhat expected. This is probably the most significant change in direction the story has ever seen. And I'm talking about the full Dragon Ball story when I say this. When pivots have happened in the past, we've had to sit back and wait momentarily while Toriyama found his footing again. Times like Ten Shinhan going to check on Chaozu during the lead up to Cell was particularly funny. And so I guess now Toriyama, in a similar fashion, is trying to get all of his ducks in a row for what will undoubtedly be an ambitious villain reveal, made possible through a horrifyingly treacherous gauntlet, according to the Supreme Kai, as he, Goku, and all the others watch silently and unseen from the surrounding mountains. Consistent with Toriyama's other villain and antagonistic reveals, Dabra and Babidi's intro is very solid. Hidden away in rocky outcrops, our heroes look on and assess the situation while Babidi and his minions accept Yamu and Spopovich's harvested energy. Toriyama likes to implement funny naming schemes for characters he lumps together. For the Saiyans, they are all named after vegetables. For Frieza's forces, they are things you'd find in a fridge such as cheese, milk, and various fruits. And for Babidi, it's no different, with his namesake, his father's, and even Majin Buu's himself stemming from a musical track found in the 1950 Walt Disney film Cinderella entitled Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. Similarly, Dabra, Pui Pui, and Yakan are names derived from popular magical phrases. Dabra from abracadabra, of course, while Pui Pui is from Chin Chin Pui Pui, a sort of Japanese magical good luck charm. Viz later adapted his name to Pocus from Hocus Pocus to give English viewers an easier time. Yakan, however, wasn't changed at all and is, well, less obvious. It's likely stemming from a popular 1960s anime with the magical incantation being Tekumaku Mayakan. Don't ask me, I'm Irish, not Japanese. I do, however, find it funny that Spopovich and Yamu didn't enjoy this same naming convention. Perhaps Toriyama saw it unnecessary to name them this way, or more likely, Toriyama had yet to decide which villain would show.
Cool. Good to know. Yo, chat, chill, bro. Chill, gang, bro.
Up and therefore gave them more natural sounding names. Man. And this speaks to the idea that this whole second half of the story was really an impromptu decision. But it's not like it matters much anyway, because as soon as they fulfilled their purpose, Babidi demonstrates his cruelty firsthand, and moreover, his short-sightedness. A trait that becomes important in his characterization later on. Using his wicked magic, he stretches Spopovich from the inside out in grotesque contortions before he explodes, while Pocus sees to a fleeing Yamu in distress. Unsettling as it is casual, and perhaps most unnerving, they know they're being watched.
Oh, Lord!
Babidi's Gauntlet. The revival of Majin Buu doesn't come about because of one simple mistake or a lack of ability necessarily, but instead a series of similarly consistent decisions consciously made by all fighters involved, which allowed Babidi every chance he had to harvest the requisite energy from our heroes. Had Goku and Vegeta not been there, Buu might not have revived. Had Gohan heeded the advice of Vegeta and others before and trained consistently, perhaps all of what ultimately takes place from this point on could have been avoided. And while the heroes of the story have been lured into the proverbial lion's den to take on a gauntlet of unknown oddities, from the moment this first fight begins, Toriyama proves that the lion that threatens this mission doesn't simply dwell within the ship, it doesn't stand across the stage from them either, and it cannot be punched. Instead, the true lion in this den can be found within each individual hero. a conflict inside each of these characters that has yet to be resolved. Characters that on paper should have no problem achieving this goal, and yet, because of who they are, their history, or their nature, our heroes are about to set in motion an avoidable disaster, the likes of which will challenge them in ways never before seen. Goku versus Yakon. Following the emphatic and frankly embarrassing defeat of Pocus at the hands of Vegeta, we switch to Babidi's perspective only to discover the once overconfident and blowhardy Warlock is starting to feel an unfamiliar sense of shock and desperation, resorting to his strongest fighter, save Dabra, in a monster called Yakon, one that even Dabra anticipates will devour and leave nothing left of our heroes behind. And so, before this fight with Goku and Yakon even commences, we can see that the villains are starting to feel a little hot under the collar, but that was with Vegeta, and with Goku, they don't even know the half of it. Again, offering every advantage possible to Yakon from his home field, all the way to removing Goku's ability to see, Babidi thinks he secured Buu's resurrection with this ploy. However, all he's actually done is offer Goku another stage upon which he can display the level of competency he possesses as a fighter. This single approach unfolds a lot to come. In that single action, we not only learn that Goku and Vegeta have achieved the form previously held only by Gohan, but have also planted a seed for Vegeta himself. In that moment, as Goku showcased his true strength, though his reaction is reserved, the seeds have been planted for Vegeta's upcoming midlife crisis. He saw the results of Goku's afterlife training and no doubt felt the truth that Goku is noticeably stronger than even he.
Oh man. Nah, that nigga down.
Gohan versus Dabra.
Part 2. Oh, man,
this is Babidi at his most desperate, but his doubts are quelled once the capable and level-headed Dabra enters the chamber, now fighting Son Gohan. Confirmed to be as strong as Perfect Cell was during his last battle with Son Gohan, Dabra proves to be an interesting measuring stick with which to compare Gohan's current level against his previous outing. And it seems Vegeta's criticisms towards Gohan at the very beginning of this arc have been warranted. He lacked a desire and will to keep training during peacetime, and now is facing a threat the likes of which he shouldn't be struggling against.
Not at all.
Gosh, doesn't that sound familiar? But what makes this fight interesting...
Hey. Again, bro, what's up with you, man? Hey, chill. Look. He weren't gonna beat that Frieza anyway. Alright, that fucking cracked up Frieza, he didn't stand a chance regardless. So you're wrong, alright? You're wrong. Not too much on Gohan, bro. Not too much on Gohan.
It really, but more so what it draws out of the other characters. Exposing Gohan as the character that out of the 3 fights we've seen, he's the only one who found difficulty, and moreover, this roadblock brought about by his own complacency, now eating into Goku's time left on Earth, is starting to similarly eat away at the Saiyan Prince's patience, or so it would seem for now, leading to Vegeta's outburst that gives way to a sinister idea in Dabra's mind.
It's crazy that he was right, too. Oh, Lord.
This reveal is what the stakes of the arc really established themselves as. Before, the greatest threat present was Dabra, a foe who we know for a fact could be easily defeated by half of our combatants. But now, the dynamic has shifted. One half of those top tier fighters has now swapped sides, and as was established with Spopovich, he received a significant boost in power.
Yep.
How this is all presented leading up to it is a very careful orchestration, however. Though it seems simple on initial viewing, Vegeta just losing his patience and Babidi taking advantage of that, with the hindsight of where the story goes later on, it's pretty clear what Toriyama had in mind from the get-go. From the moment Vegeta sees Goku power up against Yakon, his entire demeanor shifts. While Gohan holds his own against Dabra, Vegeta's outbursts are not subtle or nuanced. They are pretty loud and pointed moments for what we later learn was a meditated attempt to get Babidi's attention. The Saiyan Prince saw the depths of Goku's strength and realized instantly that he was outmatched.
So, what's with the M's on their heads?
That is the mark of the Majin.
If Babidi finds any evil in your heart, he can use it to control you, turning you into his puppet.
Wait, any evil?
Yes, any evil. Even using your phone during a movie, or leaving your shopping cart in a parking space.
Oh, that's super evil. The cart return is like right there.
Oh.
Hello, can I speak with a Vegeta?
Fuck are you?
Name's Bob. Son.
However, while these subtle and explicit developments in Vegeta's character are evident for all of us to see, and while Vegeta's sudden and violent relapse feels both reasonable and compelling on the story front, it's this degree of severity he lashes out with at the Tenkaichi Budokai that feels almost out of character for this moment. To slaughter hundreds of people in front of what he knew to be both his friends, his wife, and even his son, though thankfully he wasn't there at this point, this feels incomprehensibly thoughtless and self-indulgent, particularly for a character whose entire story in this material is about him facing the fact that he has changed and does actually love his family.
Before we see the scene, the pushback I have for that, and I'm not defending my nostalgia, I definitely understand the criticism, and it's not invalid criticism, but the pushback I'd have is, one, we can't just skip over the fact that it's a facade, he's faking it. Two, he's not killing Bulma, he's not killing Trunks, he's not killing anybody that he necessarily cares about. He's just trying to antagonize Goku, and he's probably of the mindset of, well, wish them the fuck back. So I'm not really of the idea that this was too far. It was kind of him to it was kind of showing him like, yo, Goku, I don't care how strong you think you are, I'm not fucking around right now. Like, you have a problem, and if you don't solve it, aka fight me, it's only gonna get worse. So, type shit.
Vegeta, wait!
This is something you do.
Stop it, Jinx! This isn't like you! You're not a bad guy!
Since when? When, on this worthless Earth, did I ever become a quote-unquote good guy?
You were at Krillin's barbecue last week!
Yeah, and I brought potato salad.
He is truly lost to us.
Oh,
wait, no, you mustn't! This fight will only serve to hasten Majin Buu's awakening!
And how strong is he?
Much stronger than any of you! No, I mean he can literally blow up galaxies!
Oh my
Mr.
God.
Shin, you are only making this worse.
Oh my
Fucking
God.
Mortys.
Ignoring my minor tonal issues with
this nigga Goku threatening that man's life with the sheer fact that, hey, bro, did you say he's stronger than? Yo, come on, man.
this particular section, it should be stated that these present circumstances and actions taken by Vegeta really helps to put everything into perspective in this story. Everything that's felt strange in this arc, everything from the lack of direction in the narrative early on and the strange opening round selection between him and Goku, to the bizarre offbeat atmosphere that began to color the gauntlet. It appears as though everything else up until now has been an annoying distraction to Vegeta, or so he claims, murdering hundreds at the tournament to emphasize the scale of the destruction. It's an intensely powerful scene that's brimming with subtext colored by each character involved. Sure, we have what is effectively Vegeta's relapse or midlife crisis in full swing, but this also exposes some of the most compelling character moments Goku enjoys in the series. Understanding what this situation is in ways neither Vegeta nor the Supreme Kai can fully accept or understand, this is an exceptionally serious Goku that has only one request to utter: to be transported to where they can hurt no more people.
This fight is what I needed in my life.
Vegeta, I don't understand. Why would you let Babidi do this?
You don't get it. How could you? You, who's never once questioned why he fights. You've always lived for yourself, trained for yourself. But once you were gone, I lost what drove me to be better. I lost my edge, and now I'm going to PTA meetings and Krillin's movie nights! Listen to me, Kakarot! I'm using his fucking name! But now I have a chance. The chance to finally fight you one-on-one. No outsiders, no interference. Just you, me, and my victory.
All right.
That's it?
Yeah, look, Jeets, I'm just here for the fight. You don't gotta justify it.
Oh my God.
What's that?
A near tragic fight between two rivals. It's clear how avoidable this all would have been if not for Vegeta's crisis of faith, so to speak. And what's more is, it's remarkable how much of this arc feels as though it's been intentionally tied to the events that have defined 2 generations of the Sun family. This fight we see before us feels like a total vanity trip, an ego-driven enterprise that only serves to create negative consequences for those that need to and will pay for it. It's been demonstrated to us that they already have the power, they already have the means to change the course of history, but they don't have the will. Instead, they are all caught up in either the consequences of their own past actions or their inability to move on from them. And so the net effect of this battle taking place can only be negative. But it's so much worse than anyone, even Bobbity, could have predicted.
Tough. Wait, how did they make Buu sound?
Majin Buu's reveal is the biggest visual subversion a villain has ever been presented to us with in this series, and by all accounts, we should most definitely have seen this coming. No other villain in the history of Dragon Ball has received so much build-up, dread, or story leading up to their eventual unveiling. Frieza probably comes the closest, but even then, he still doesn't begin to approach that of Buu's introduction. For Frieza, despite getting similarly terrifying forewarning, was very quickly revealed to us. Ever since Shin made his surprise debut in this series, we have been building up to, in one way or another, this grand unveiling. There's been suspense, drama, swerves, a gauntlet match, and a host of other elements that have all assembled together for the sole purpose of building to this one monumental moment. And that moment plops out and starts dancing and stretching like a cartoon character. And it makes sense. Like I've said in this video already, this arc feels like Toriyama at his most unbridled. It reads sometimes similar like his old super gag-centric material early on with fourth wall breaks and crazy dialogue. Heck, he even at times took to changing the narration text boxes in this arc. Text boxes that one time in the past denoted Toriyama's own internal voice now chime in to present Gohan's voice instead, almost to reflect the superhero comic book type vibe he was going for. This is all to say that this arc is built differently. Naturally, the nature of Majin Buu's state gets expanded upon later, but you can't deny the impact of this unveiling.
Finally, after all these years and all of my hard work, he's finally been set free! My baby boy, Majin Buu!
My baby. Oh my God.
Sorry, does he need to go back in the oven? I'm a clone, so I don't really remember the original. Deborah, little help here.
Let me talk with him, Master. Majin Buu!
Ooh, are you new friend? You play games with Buu.
I am not here for games. I am the Demon King Deborah.
Okay.
Our master is Bobbity, and you shall follow his every whim. Understood?
You play games with Buu.
What was that?
Oh my God.
Speak up, you pillowy pink preemie eye.
Why would you? Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Natural selection. Natural selection. Natural selection. Nope, nope, nope.
Despite being the rematch to end all rematches,
Them niggas was like, hold
once
on.
again, Toriyama subverts our collective expectations. What was once the greatest and most inspirational matchup in all of Dragon Ball has been reduced to this. Not even the main focus of the arc's material, instead a side story which selfishly facilitates the chaos that ensues. And what's more is the story we are shown time and again is that through it all, not only does Vegeta still not have the advantage in this fight he gave up everything to have, but Goku just continuously calls out this tantrum, this relapse for what it is, just a crisis.
Yeah.
After all the bloodshed, after all Vegeta's bluster and damage levied onto Goku during this battle, Goku just doesn't buy it. And with the fight now at a complete standstill, all of this talk from Goku, the new ki in the distance clearly formidable, and Gohan's ki having just vanished entirely, it's enough to force Vegeta to realize that he isn't going to get what he wants here. He's not going to get the triumphant rematch that he wanted because, in more ways than one, that ship has long since sailed. And now, having unloaded all of this baggage, he has to pay for the sins he's committed. Yo. And this, my friends, is the beginning of the end.
Yes, sir.
And for Vegeta, this is the last thing he will ever see. And I think now is as good a time as any to say that I love this incarnation of Majin Buu's design. The angry face, the dumb cape, the big belt, the steam puffing out of his head when it's mad. This is one of the most fun designs in the entire series. It's utterly spectacular, and you can tell Akira Toriyama is having so much fun with it. And in a collection of guidebooks released after the manga was complete, Toriyama saw fit to share some of his preliminary sketches for this Buu design. Some are better than others, but man am I happy he landed on this. And on this fan-favorite occasion, I don't think Vegeta could have asked for a better dance partner to bounce off of both literally and figuratively. Everything about Buu screams unthreatening blimp, and as he fights with Vegeta, arguably the most serious character in the series, as the fight starts, it almost seems like Vegeta might stand a fighting chance. With 7 years of training at his back, as well as a significant power boost from Babidi's magic, he spends half of this chapter attacking Buu, even going so far as to combo him into a trunk-sized hole in his chest. The entire fight has a very eerie vibe to it, though, as he's tossed and spun around while Buu performs bizarre and goofy move after bizarre and goofy move. And despite being filled with resolve he's never once before boasted, despite Piccolo even reaffirming to us that at this very moment in time Vegeta is stronger than both Gohan and Perfect Cell were at the end of the last arc, it doesn't take long before the gulf in their power becomes apparent. Even Vegeta's most devastating blow is described as hurting, quote, a little. And little is enough to send Buu into an explosion that renders Vegeta into a state remarkably similar to that of Gohan at the end of the Cell Saga. And from here, it's only a few pages before Buu wraps Vegeta into his own goo and begins to beat him senselessly. Vegeta has seen a lot of brutal beatdowns over the years, but there's a distinct hopelessness to this one. With each subsequent blow, Vegeta is bloodier and bloodier, leaving him lying completely incapacitated and defenseless, a fate just as bad as Gohan's. With this, Vegeta has lost. The result of all his selfish crisis and endless conniving, deals with the devil for power, all of it is exactly the same outcome as the fate of the boy he mocked for his complacency earlier. Actions led him not to his own satisfaction and exaltation, but to his bloodied face in the dirt. Thankfully, much the same way Goku found himself saved from Vegeta long ago thanks to his friends and family by his side, so too does Vegeta now have family and loved ones that can look out for him. His 7 years of peace, whether he realizes it or not, has garnered him not only a son that deeply cares for him, but friends around him that would watch by in desperation as his life is in danger. But there's a difference here, a key difference. Vegeta has had people by his side before. Hell, Future Trunks spent his entire existence in the Cell arc doing his best to support and impress his father Vegeta, 100%, standing by his side to the very end. And when the cards were on the table for Future Trunks, seeing the writing on the wall for Vegeta as he faced off against Perfect Cell in vain, he ultimately didn't have the courage to make the save before Vegeta's was dynamic down.
With Trunks during the intro arc is really not
the last time he tried to do that, it only made his relationship with Vegeta worse.
That's
so
probably
instead, for Cell,
he
chose to wait until Vegeta was on death's door, knocked unconscious and out of his Super Saiyan state. But here, against Majin Buu, things are different. The Trunks of the present doesn't spend even a single moment contemplating what he should do. The second the cards are on the table for Vegeta, Trunks springs into action, flying in desperately at top speed and landing a remarkably effective kick against Buu. And once Vegeta is unraveled and brought back to consciousness, how does he react? not with the usual callousness and scorn that we have come to expect from him in prior arcs. No berating, no boasting, and overcompensating for his defeat. Instead, Vegeta looks off for a moment, deep in thought, and comes to terms with the consequences of his actions, telling his son to look after his mother. At this very moment, Vegeta's long and winding evolution as a character has come to its conclusion.
Oh, man.
At the end of it all, through hardship, victories, humiliations, and mountains of selfish errors in judgment, we finally see Vegeta at the end of his journey. A Vegeta that has come to terms with who he is, the values that he has for so long scorned, and an acceptance of the unbridled danger he has directly and purposely unleashed against the universe, against the ones that he cares for. With Majin Buu out of the picture for a brief moment, every second Vegeta spends in his final moments reveals to us what matters most to him as a character. First, by hugging his son Trunks, something he admitted to never doing when he was a baby. It's something that you never in a million years would have expected to see, even at the end of the Cell Saga. But in this moment, his only son is his #1 priority. And after his final goodbye, he, albeit in a very Vegeta way, tends to him as well as Goten and makes sure that they are kept safe. With the boys taken care of, handed over to Piccolo, who has single-handedly cut Babidi down, quite literally in the meantime, there's a quiet moment shared between both he and the Saiyan Prince. One that again draws comparisons to Vegeta's past. But in this scene, this circumstance, it's different, and he knows it. Fearful of what he's about to do, he asks Piccolo if he'll see Kakarot in Otherworld. The subtext is clear, however, Vegeta wants to know if he will have an afterlife to himself at all. If he will get to fight on after, or if his soul will be cleansed and reincarnated, forever lost. He all but knows the answer to this question, but the fact he asks it at all speaks to what he must be feeling at this time. He's searching for something positive to latch onto in this terrifying storm of circumstance. Piccolo answers honestly with a resounding no, explaining that he has led a life so full of death and resentment that he will most definitely meet his end right here and now if he goes through with what he has planned. There will be no more. His story will end here. And faced with that reality, as the physical manifestation of his own sins marches towards him, he orders Piccolo to get both himself and the two boys as far away from here as he can. Even with irreversible death and reincarnation awaiting him, Vegeta marches forward, knowing he must meet his fate. Vegeta, more than anyone else, has made this mess. And it is clearer than anything else to him that he has to clean up that mess. Anyway, at any cost. Not for himself, but for those he now realizes he cares for. And what follows is a scene so dense with complex emotion that I think it is likely unmatched in the series, past and present. A scene that millions of people across the world recognize as the defining climax of Vegeta's character in this story. Binding arc he's undergone since first setting foot on planet Earth during the Saiyan Saga. A scene that has remained in the hearts and minds of fans for decades now. This moment is not only Vegeta's last bastion, the final member of the eldest generation ensuring that the torch is passed to those below him, but an act of courageous desperation. The mess Vegeta has made is all but insurmountable, and he knows if he doesn't manage to take care of it somehow, his actions will be the end of everyone he knows. And so, with nowhere left to turn, no other option at his disposal,
You're a real nigga for this
Vegeta faces his most desperate act, not with fear this time, but with his trademark smile on his face. There is nowhere he seeks to run, no training left to do, no power-up left to surmount this foe. No comrades left to rescue him, no complications left to arise. There is only one thing left.
あいつは初めて自分以外の者のために戦おうとしているんだ。己の命を捨てて。貴様の片付け方が分かったぞ。
パパはな、誇り高きサイヤ人の王子なんだぞ。
確かスーパーサイヤ人だとか言ってたね。君がそうだとしたら 史上最強なんてのはそんなものなのかい？
僕のパパはすごいんだぞ。サイヤ人の王子があんな奴に負けるもんか。
Yo solo quería regresar a como era antes.
¡Desaparece!
Ne ho fin sopra i capelli del tuo ridicolo senso di pietà e della tua umanità. Decimi, perciò.
Ma stupidste!
You may have invaded my mind and my body, but there's one thing a Saiyan always keeps. His pride!
Oh, man. Real nigga.
And there you have it. That's Vegeta's sacrifice, and part 1 of this comprehensive review of the Buu arc.
Trunks.
I'm about to say, there's no way they don't.
For the first time ever.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
Hug complete.
Oh my God.
Is it gonna be okay?
Oh my God.
I'm a way better dad than Kakarot. Namekian, take the Kakatot and my son away from here. Fine.
I've thought of a lot of names for this nigga. Kakatot is crazy. Kakatot is crazy, bro.
Kakarot. Namekian, take the Kakatot and my son away from here.
Fine. Is crazy.
Got nothing better to do, and this is way above my pay grade.
But before you go, tell me, do you think I'll see Kakarot when I die?
What, like in heaven? Because... no.
Okay, fuck you. But... fair.
Wait! We're not done playing with you!
Squinty eyes on me, Bubble Yum. We're playing my game now.
Talk to me.
First rule. You fucking die!
Oh, shit.
Oh, Boo has played this game.
That regeneration shit got old 6 years ago. So I'm gonna take a page out of Kakarot's book.
They made me serious.
I'm gonna hit you really hard!
Yeah!
I'm gonna wipe every last bit of you from existence!
Existence. Existence is but shallow question with no answer. Boo make you chicken nuggets!
This is farewell. Bulma. Trunks. And even you, best buddy.
Wait, Vegeta, no! Vegeta!
He called him best buddy. Oh, that one was good. That one was good. That one almost got me. That one almost got me. That one almost got me. Best buddy almost got me. Best buddy almost got me. I ain't gonna lie. Best buddy was a good one. Take care and stay blessed. We'll see you in part 2.